Okay, boys, we come to the second part now. In the first part, we had finished with the Ashtapradhan Mandal, policy regarding agriculture, village economy, trade and business, the military organization. Okay, now we'll move ahead with the following points of the administration of the Swaraj. Okay, boys, part 2. Come to the intelligence department. Okay, now here you find during Shivaji Maharaj time, intelligence department means the people who will have a okay, you will have a spy who will give you information about what is happening, what has been passed, messages around over. That is said to be the intelligence department. Okay, the protection of Swaraj from its enemies were very important. Okay, it was very important to protect Swaraj from the enemy power. Okay, for that purpose, for this it was necessary to get precise and timely information about the movement of the enemy. Okay, that means to protect the Swaraj, you have to be you have to safeguard your Swaraj from the enemies. For that, you need somebody to give you proper information of what is the enemy planning on the movement of the enemy. Okay, the intelligence department had the responsibility to obtain this information and submit it to Maharaj. Okay, who had the intelligence department had the job over here. Main job was what? The responsibility was what? To inform Maharaj the enemy power is moving. They are planning to attack from this side or either side. Okay, inform the Maharaj immediately so that Maharaj could take actions and safeguard his Swaraj. Okay. Barji Nayak was the head of this department. Who was he? Barji Nayak. He was the head of this department, intelligence department. Who was the head? Barji Nayak. He had collected accurate and detailed information about Surat before the raid. Okay, now Barji Nayak was a spy. Okay, that means who gave proper information to Shivaji Maharaj. That is before the Surat raid. Okay, when the enemies came out to Surat to raid around over there, he gave the proper information through which Shivaji Maharaj could information. So that is how Shivaji Maharaj could enter, take away the entire part under his custody and also control it and safeguard it. Anybody trying to attack Surat around over there, Barji Nayak would give the information. I will show you the picture of Barji Nayak also, my dear boys. So intelligence department very important to safeguard Swaraj from the enemies. Okay, to safeguard the kingdom from the enemies. Let's look the picture of Barji Nayak. So this is the picture of Barji Nayak, dear boys. He was the well-known, you see around over there, the well-known spy during in Shivaji Maharaj's court. Okay, let's move. In the previous chapter, you have seen how important forts were. Okay, and during Shivaji Maharaj time, you remember, if you go to look in the history of India around, it is only during Shivaji Maharaj that we have forts coming into existence. Okay, lot of importance was given to the forts in the medieval period, in the Middle Ages, in the medieval period of India around over there. Forts were given more were given more great importance in the medieval period. Okay, possession of a fort made it possible to keep an eye on the surrounding area. If you possessed a fort, it gave you an authority to keep an eye on the surrounding area. The fort is at the biggest place around over there. From there, you can, with your binoculars, you can see what is happening around, which enemy is coming. All that could be seen. So if you possessed a fort, you were able to keep an eye on the surrounding area. Okay, at the medieval period, that was the belief. In case of any foreign invasion, it was possible to protect the people taking shelter in the fort. Now suppose if there was any invasion, in case of foreign invasion means if any foreign people came into the country around over to attack us or to take control over the forts, okay, or to attack the kingdom around over there, the people could take shelter inside the fort, because the fort was built with great big strong rocks around over there. Okay, and the doors and everything very very strong it was, so nobody could enter in very easily, and whereas people could take safety and refuge inside it. Entire village could come inside that fort around over there, that big and strong it was. Okay, a fort was utilized in many ways. stocked the fort with the food grains, war materials, ammunitions, and military garrison. Okay, now what do you find? The fort was used for many even if you want, you could stock food grains into it. Okay, arms and ammunitions could be stored in the fort. And the next one, military garrisons around all the requirements for the military also could be saved, because it's very big, there was ample amount of space and nobody is going to enter into, because the fort was highly protected. Okay, so all these things also, like for example food grains, arms and ammunitions, military garrisons, okay, all these could also be stored in the fort around over there. Stock, a stock of it can be kept around over there. Whenever, suppose if there was during the attack over there, the villagers were not getting food grain from here, you can take and you can give it out around over there. That is why forts played a very important role during the medieval period, and Shivaji Maharaj personally saw to it that he took over under his control, under Swaraj's control, a large amount of fort also. He captured a large amount of forts. Okay, let's go ahead. Importance of forts in the foundation of Swaraj is well stated in the Agnya Patra. This kingdom was created by the late, revered and exalted majesty forts alone. Okay, in the Agnya Patra of Shivaji Maharaj is clearly mentioned that this kingdom, the kingdom of Swaraj, is based on, or is being able to built up, was created by the late, revered and exalted forts. Because of the forts present, that is the only reason why Swaraj was been established, developed and is standing strong around over there. It was clearly mentioned in the picture, in the Agnya Patra. And look, the fort over there, you can see the fort, the picture of the fort. So boys, look at that picture, Fort Padmadurg. This is the fort of Padmadurg. Okay, clear? That's how important forts were. As we proceed with the forts, okay, now there was about 300 forts in Swaraj. How many forts? 300 forts were there in Swaraj. Maharaj gave a lot of importance to forts. You see, that is why it is very clearly mentioned in the Agnya Patra. The entire Swaraj is today standing state just because of the exalted and revered forts. Only because of the forts, Swaraj is being standing. Very clearly as mentioned in the Agnya Patra. Okay, Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, boys. He spent a considerable amount of money on the building and repairs of the fort. He knew how important forts were. Being strong, standing strong over there, it could protect the people, it could protect the kingdom also. That is why he was ready to spend money in repair of the fort. If any fort were been damaged in the war, okay, or with the enemy attack around over there, he would repair it. He would spend money and repair it. Okay, amount and building and repairing, either to build, he would spend money to build forts around over there, or he would, even for the repair work, Shivaji Maharaj was ready to pay money and get it done, because he knew the importance of fort. There was a kiledar, a subnis and a karkanas on every fort. Now, who were the three people in every fort? Every fort had a kiledar, had a subnis and a karkanis were present in every fort. These three people will surely be there in each and every fort. That is, all the 300 forts had these three people. The Karkanas looked after the storage of food grains and the maintenance of war material on the fort. Now, what was the duty of the Karkanas? The Karkanas, they looked after food grains. How much food grains has been stored, it has been maintained, or what that means. At least the nearby villages can be able to have, and if the people have to come in, or if the army soldiers are present around, if the food grain is saved and stored around over there, it becomes difficult to carry food grains to the fort. Okay, so all it was being stocked over there. So he would look after the storage of food grains and also maintenance of war material. Okay, you require sword, you require spear. Okay, all war materials are being properly stored and kept in the fort. All these things is what the Karkanas mainly was looking after. Now let us just turn ourselves to sea forts. Okay, now sea forts were also a great importance. Yes, the picture what you saw, that was Fort Padmadurg around over there. It was a sea fort. Okay, boys. Okay, sea forts were the great importance, because if any enemy power came in through water, okay, came in through sea, by boat they used to come around over there. If through the fort we can see anybody coming in, okay, it is at a greater height now the fort, so we could find out whether the enemy is coming and we could also attack them. Clear? Now Sindhu Durga and Malwan is an excellent fort built by Maharaj. Two excellent forts built by Maharaj, sea forts were Sindhudurg and Malwan. Okay, to give strength to this fort, 5 khandas of lead was poured into its foundation. Okay, now what you've been around over here, you find to build these 2 forts. Okay, that is Sindhudurg and Malwan. What was 5 khandas means 5 pot. Okay, or 5 big pot of lead. You know what is lead? Lead is a metal. Okay, fine. Lead was input into the sea for the foundation, to lay the foundation of these 2 forts, that's Sindhudurg and Malwan. Okay, another sea fort, Padmadurg, was built to counter the Siddhi powers. Okay, the I gave you showed you the picture of Fort Padmadurg. Okay, now why was this built? This was built to counter, that means to stop the Siddhi power from entering the kingdom. Okay, or to have a check over the Siddhi power. What are their movements around over there? That for that purpose, the Padmadurg fort was being built. Okay. See boys, how much Shivaji Maharaj spent on and took care of building the fort to safeguard his own people. Clear? You can see few forts, sea forts, okay, built during Shivaji Maharaj time. The first one is your fort Sindhudurg. Okay, the next one is Kolba Fort Alibag. You can find this fort in Alibag when you go. Even today it is there, but it is little bit been tampered around. Okay, then you have Murad Janjira, the fort over there, Murad Janjira, and the last one is Vijaya Durga Fort. Okay, so if you go from your Sindhudurga, then Kolba Fort, Murad Janjira, and the last one around over Vijaya Durga Fort. Okay, these are few forts, pictures of few fort, for you all to understand how it was being built, okay, and how strong it stood around. 3 are sea forts and 1 Murad Janjira is a fort on the plain. Okay. Coming down to Navy. Enemies on the west coast of India, the Portuguese of Goa, the Siddhi of Janjira, and the British factors of Surat and Rajpur created obstacles in the expansion of Swaraj. To curb their activities and protect the west coast, Maharaj raised the navy. Maharaj realized that one who has a navy controls the sea. Okay, now very important, there were enemies which were trying their best to curb Shivaji Maharaj and to curb the Swaraj power, okay, kingdom. One was Portuguese of Goa, Siddhi of Janjira, and the British. Okay, they were in Surat and Rajgarh. Okay, now they were trying to, they didn't wanted Swaraj to expand. Okay, and though Shivaji Maharaj knew these powers are coming, they are coming to the sea. Okay, that is why Shivaji Maharaj realized the activities, to curb the activities of the enemies. Curb means to stop them or to restrict them from coming into our territory. Shivaji Maharaj understood that it is very important to raise or to build up a navy. Okay, and Shivaji Maharaj knew that if I have a navy, okay, a navy in my custody, then that surrounding part of that sea would be under his custody. Whoever controls the navy controls the sea also. Okay. That is why Shivaji Maharaj built a navy. Clear? There were 400 ships of various kinds in his navy. They included the Gurba, Gulbat and Pal. Ships were built in the Kalyan Bhivandi Creek, Vijay Durga and Malwan. Mayank Bhandari and Daulat Khan were the chief naval commanders. The chief naval commanders of Shivaji Maharaj in the navy was Daulat Khan and Mayank Bhandari. Okay, they were the chief naval commanders. Now, Shivaji Maharaj, when he built navy, he saw to it the ships were also built up. Now, there were varieties of ships. What were the varieties of ships? There were the ships that were consisted of total 400 ships. They were Gurab, Galbat and Pal. Okay, all these three are the battleship. You have the picture of Gurab and Galbat even in your textbook. I will be showing it to you also. Okay, so he realized that to control the sea it is necessary to have a navy. That is why he built, and he saw to it there were variety 400 ships over there. The mainly that is the battleships, that is Gurab, Galbat and Pal. Now, where were the ships built? The ships were built at the Kalyan Bhivandi Creek, okay, and Vijayadurga and Malwan. In these places, the ships were being built. Okay, boys. Boys, you can see this picture on top around of the Shivaji Maha and the sea over there, an ample amount of ships. Okay, you have the picture of Gurab and Galbat being also shown around, and how the ships are being made. Okay, closer view of it. Now, concern for the welfare of his subject. Throughout, if you go to look, Shivaji was always concerned about his subject. Okay, he saw to it that his subject was happy and well maintained, taken care. Then only there would be greater amount of development happening in his court. Okay, now the first point, Maharaj did not work only for the expansion of Swaraj, but also for the welfare of his people. He did, but not just expanding territory and not taking care of the people, but he took ample amount of care about his subject. He was aware that if his subjects were to really get the joy of freedom, it was necessary to have a disciplined administration. Taking comprehensive care of people and protection of conquered territory was necessary. Okay, now what does the second point tell around over there? He was very clear. Who was this? Shivaji was very clear that his subjects should enjoy freedom. And if they have to enjoy freedom, then there should be a disciplined administration. Comprehensive care of the people means utmost care of the people has to be taken, and there has to be protection of conquered territory was necessary. There was to see to it that the protection and utmost care of the people were done of, especially of the conquered territories. Whatever territories he has conquered from the enemy, they have to be taken care. They should not consider Shivaji Maharaj as an enemy. So the utmost care was given to them. Okay, now you see, Maharaj was a watchful administrator who cared for his people's welfare. Watchful administrator means he saw to it, in the administration part, he saw to it that all the protection, all the care was given to the people, so that the people inside the kingdom was very happy and satisfied. Okay, in this manner, there was development in the kingdom also coming around. Okay, that is what you see. He was so careful. He was really in depth. If you go to look, he took care of his subjects, of his people's welfare. Okay, that is what you see in this chapter. Okay, dear boys, I hope you all have understood this chapter very clearly. Okay, and there are no doubts. Now, boys, if you all have any doubt, anything if you are not understood in this chapter, you can ask your teacher when they come live to you. Okay, for your live class, when your history teacher comes into the classroom, you can ask them. Okay, 7th A and B can ask me, and 7th C can ask Miss Punita. Okay, if you all have any doubt regarding this chapter. Okay, boys. Now, hope you enjoyed the lesson. Take care, boys. Be safe.